Hello, my name is Melissa Ferrari. I'm an experimental documentary animator and a magic lanternist. My work is rooted in histories of science, and I tend to be drawn to the borderlands, where science and story do collide, drifting somewhere between the wonders of the natural world and instances where the supernatural bleeds in, finding how these stories continue to be reflected in social issues today. I make work on subjects like cryptozoology, preternatural ecologies, reproductive rights, and witchcraft. I'm fascinated by the tension and wonder found in scientific explanations, the pervasiveness of pseudoscience and its cultural and political consequences, and related questions of veracity, evidence, religion, and belief. Understanding old folklores as contemporary science, and highlighting the qualities of myth in modern science. As a lanternist, I create hand-drawn lantern slides and perform with antique projectors. I am most inspired by the histories of phantasmagoria and illustrated science lectures. Over 200 years ago, phantasmagoria performances were presented as one big physics experiment, using the tool of the magic lantern to conjure the occult. One trait of the science new wave that really resonates with me is this idea of experiments becoming cinema. I view my entire practice as a series of lantern and animation experiments based on true stories, analogous to a field journal, fragments of which you see here. Creating live cinematic performances with magic lanterns requires an added physicality of experimentalism. It's critical to spend unplanned time with my projector in the dark, allowing elements of surprise and intuition to create new approaches to combining images and manipulating the physical effects of light. I'm inspired by the formal elements of didactic scientific media and the history of animation as a tool in scientific visualization. Researching antique optical devices used in scientific imaging allows me to engage their visual languages. I often look to 19th century archives of science publications for inspiration and instructions for lantern slide designs, such as volcanic eruptions or the use of tiny aquarium slides to project seaweed and brine shrimp. While I primarily use analog and hand-drawn methods, I'm also experimenting with modern slide-making tools like a laser engraving approach I'm calling my scrimshaw technique, where I can mock up slide animations digitally and etch and ink my drawings onto acrylic like a printmaking plate. The notion that diversity feeds the ecosystem is a powerful trait in the science new wave, of course in relation to the institutional systems of science, as well as the formal approaches to science documentary that are reckoning with the need to dismantle certain philosophies and center liberation and diversity in their definitions and understandings of what is considered to be true and valuable, but also for the diversity of types of approaches to art making. I'm constantly inspired by the broad community of makers in the science new wave. I often think about my position as a science enthusiast with no formal science training in relation to natural history, natural magic, citizen science, and how this informs my role as a creator. As an animated documentarian, I cherish collaborating with scientists, and I'm curious about methodologies for how to partake in research-based animation practices that are built on communication between experts and artists. In thinking about this, I'm truly grateful for the science new wave, as it helps me feel emboldened to create experimental science-based work and feel like I have a home among a sea of incredible filmmakers across the spectrum of arts and sciences.